Kanan messing with Nick's brother, but you don't know what the work is.
He is changing up, Rock. He ain't the same.
Kanan says you talk a lot.
Your stupid little brother went to scrap Mom's house.
Your brother need to make this shit right.
Enemies are dangerous, especially when they're family.
Enemies are dangerous, especially when they're family. We may not like Juliana, but she definitely hit the nail on the head with where we find ourselves on the chessboard at this moment in time. Blood may be thicker than water, but relationships can change and people can change. Whether it's their environment and circumstances that shape their identity, betrayal from brothers, or poisoning of minds like we're going to see with Kanan and Ronnie, chess pieces are beginning to shift and move across the chessboard, especially with family. Now center stage going forward will be Kanan, who looks on as Ronnie comes face to face with Famous, who looks like he's about to shit his pants. The relationship between him and Duke is also starting to take a turn, which Rock will play a heavy role in, and I will be running through a few different perspectives when it comes to Rock's conversation with Duke, and how it could lead to a breakdown in other relationships. On the other side with the Thomases, we've got the aftermath of Lou's confession. Chantel's looking for justice, but if she feels as if law enforcement isn't taking action, then she might end up taking matters into her own hands. Something Rock will ask Lou to do, make shit right and send Chantel to Scrappy. But does he have it in him, or will he fumble the ball and miss like he's done before? So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the trailer, looking at all the clues as usual for all things Raising Kanan, Season 3, Episode 7. Now the title of Episode 7 is Where All Are Guilty, and the synopsis reads, Lou's drinking creates a problem for the whole family when Chantel goes looking for justice. Kanan assimilates into Ronnie's crew. Meanwhile, Rock formulates a new plan for Unique's former heroin operation. Now first things first, what do they mean by the episode title, Where All Are Guilty? Just to add a bit of context, it is a shorter quote from Hannah Arendt, which I may not have pronounced correctly, so excuse my pronunciation, but it is a shorter version where the full reads, When all are guilty, no one is. Confessions of collective guilt are the best possible safeguard against the discovery of culprits, and the very magnitude of the crime, the best excuse for doing nothing. Now what it means for where we are in the storyline for Raising Kanan, in short, it's a message that sends a bit of caution against the situation, where characters point to collective guilt in a way to deflect self-responsibility. It also forces own self-reflection, accountability, and looking at who you are and the choices that you've made. But just like the older Kanan's narration said, sometimes by the time you realize, it is too late. Now in regards to the trailer, Duke and Kanan's relationship across 2.5 seasons has made us all question, when and where did it all change? Why did their relationship in power feel so empty and cold? Something obviously changed between them in their childhood, and I think we're about to get some of the missing pieces of the puzzle. There seems like there is a different feel in the air for the trailer for episode 7, compared to earlier in the season. Kanan is changing and Duke knows it's not for the better, but neither look like they're gonna back down.
Kanan's changing up, Rock. He also kicking it with some old heads.
Now Duke is very street savvy and smart. In season 1 she showed she was a lot more advanced and a lot more aware of the world that they live in as well as the consequences that come with it. We saw her teaching Kanan what was what at the park, and when she looked around in the club in episode 6, she knew a thugster when she saw one. So we're gonna see Duke telling Rock, Kanan's messing around with Ronnie, but she doesn't know what the work is. And what is the work? It's heroin. The same product that Rock and Marvin are gonna be moving under Quan when they take over Unique's heroin operation, which also means Rock's competition is Ronnie and Kanan. So it is about to get really spicy in the streets. But in regards to Duke and Rock, she may not know what the work is, but what she definitely knows is Kanan is changing, and it is thanks to the influence of Ronnie, Snaps, and a few older heads. Now I think we all know what the next move is from Rock. She's gonna ask Duke to keep very close tabs on Kanan and report back. So we see Duke in some apartment blocks being stopped by some guys and coming face to face with Ronnie again. An interaction that I did say let's keep an eye on in my breakdown for episode 6. Just think about this for a moment. If Ronnie ever puts Duke in harm's way, then all hell will unleash. You can guarantee that Marvin will bring hell on Ronnie if he fucks with Duke. Now let's flip this and look at another perspective. Would Marvin be happy that Rock is asking Duke to do what she's doing? Because asking Duke to keep tabs on Kanan and finding out what he's up to and who with definitely puts Duke in danger. And I don't think Marvin will be too happy with that. Let's remember what happened when Marvin brought Kanan into the game with him, or when he took Kanan to the stash house. Rock wasn't exactly pleased that Marvin put Kanan in danger. So there goes Rock being the hypocrite that she is. But that's just a bit of a side thought. Let's see if it eventually does cause a bit of tension between Marvin and Rock. Now on Duke and Kanan's relationship, I really don't think Kanan will be happy Duke is telling Rock what he's up to, because we only have to look at what happened with Famous and the backpack. Family or not, Kanan will feel betrayed by Duke, and it is going to change their relationship going forward. So that's just something to keep an eye on. But this brings me on to Famous.
Kanan says you talk a lot.
As if Famous wasn't already shook, he's now gonna have to come face to face with Ronnie, and I did question, where does Famous fit into Kanan's story, because Ronnie isn't the kind of guy that would stand for Famous's clowning around or loose slips. So we've got Kanan, Famous, and Ronnie in their apartment, with Ronnie saying Kanan says you talk a lot, and we all know Famous isn't built for the streets. And with the story set to take a dark turn with Kanan getting deeper in the streets with Ronnie, it does make us ask the question, what happens with Famous? We only have to look at his song 411 where he stupidly self-confessed to what he did with Freddie. So Ronnie definitely is right, he does talk too much. He's also a liability when it comes to Kanan's business, and those are two things Ronnie won't stand for, so I do think something will have to give when it comes to Famous. But whether he ends up dead or in jail for his self-confession, let's wait and see. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Ronnie telling Kanan get rid of Famous, as well as maybe Paul. So let's see how they end Famous's story arc in season 3. Now over to the situation with Chantel and Lou's confession. This was weighing heavy on Lou's shoulders since the moment it happened, which we can take all the way back to D-Wiz in 102. All the bodies that are piled up he feels responsible for, but it also goes back to the title of episode 7. He also puts a lot of blame on Rock, but look, there is no way of sugarcoating it. No matter what he was feeling, whether Rock was making the decisions for him when he was younger or whatever else, Lou fucked up big time, and now he's put them all at risk. Chantel's first move would be to go to the precinct and tell Howard that it was Rock, but let's not forget, Howard is looking out for Rock's best interest because they're all involved. If one of them goes down, then it brings down the entire house of cards. So Howard will tell Rock that your stupid little brother went to scrap his mom's house, then she came to the precinct, and Rock will be fuming. She's gonna lose her shit when she finds out. Now she's gonna tell Marvin that Lou needs to make this shit right, and we do see Marvin grabbing Lou either at his apartment or at the back of Cafe Vu, but later handing him a piece, which I think will be a bullet for Chantel. But the real question is, will Lou be able to pull the trigger, or will he fumble like he's done before? Now just something to keep in mind, with Lou's past seem to be haunting him, he still has one more death weighing heavy on his shoulders, D-Wiz. So could we finally be set for the introduction of D-Wiz's brother, who could actually be in Ronnie's crew, who knows? Let's not forget Ronnie was inside for 3 years, and in season 1, it was said that D-Wiz's brother had just got out of prison. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did cross paths, and he's actually a part of Ronnie's crew, which is how Kanan could potentially meet him, so that's just a side thought. Last but not least, we've got Ronnie and Juliana, with Juliana telling Ronnie enemies are dangerous, especially when they're family. Now this could be in reference to a few major players, but the one I think she could be talking about is Rock. So let's not forget, Juliana didn't just have bad blood with Unique, she also has problems with Rock, which stems from Rock not doing anything when Unique kidnapped her. Instead, we saw her getting into business with Unique with a New Jersey operation. So I wouldn't be surprised if Juliana is asking Ronnie to get rid of another threat, because the competition is Kanan's mom. But having said that, Juliana is playing a very dangerous game herself, because she's made a deal with Ronnie behind her family's back, so it does go both ways. When Joaquin finds out she made a deal with Ronnie, I wouldn't be surprised if Rock gets given the green light to finally put an end to Juliana, because it is definitely coming. She is going to get what she deserves, that's for sure. But that's a breakdown for the trailer for episode 7, and what we can expect going into the home stretch of Raising Kanan season 3. And I wouldn't say that it's going to be another filler episode. I don't think any episode has felt like a filler this season, but I do think it is going to be very similar to episode 6, which I think is a seed planter for an explosive episode 8, 9, and 10. So with that being said, drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section and let me know your predictions for episode 7. Drop all your comments down below, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.